We're here in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, this is where both of us immigrated to from our respective countries. She's from Pakistan, I'm from Russia.
As you guys can tell.
Yeah. We're in lovely Chicago. This is the beach, North Avenue. This is where we played a lot of volleyball.
This is actually where we met, right there.
Yeah, Castaways. Well, not. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Castaways. It was like that beach area
beach
on the
party,
side.
yeah.
So we met like almost a decade ago on the beach in Chicago. This is. We're gonna talk more about that in a second. I'm not gonna go into the whole best friend thing. Later on, we're gonna discuss what it feels like having a girl best friend or opposite sex best friend, and how like the shit that we have to communicate with other people, and if it's even possible to have an opposite sex best friend. We'll discuss that and a couple other things. Just want to give you a quick shot of the city. You're gonna see more of the architecture. This is Castaways, one of the main social areas on the beach. We're gonna walk through and look at some of the architecture, discuss a few things. This is Walk with Sadiq, season 2, episode 2, Chicago, Illinois, summertime Chicago. All right, so you ready to take a walk? All right, so the first thing is we both grew up here.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Kind of.
What do you think of Chicago?
You know, in the summer, there's no other place I would rather be. In the winter, please take me away from here.
Yeah, so are you gonna, but we've discussed this, like now I live in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up here, I live in New York for 7 years now. I moved there for stand-up comedy mainly. And there's always this New York-Chicago rivalry, which is really just New Yorkers.
Yeah, it really is.
That are pissed off. I don't think Chicago ever talks about New York.
No, we are very comfortable where we are.
Yeah.
With our alleys and no garbage on the streets.
Yeah.
So
we're pretty secure
we're good.
in the way that we are. Let's take a walk over there too and just show the city. So would you ever move out of Chicago? Because you talked about it before.
Yes, I think one day, maybe when I start a family, I would move somewhere where it's warmer, simply because it would be easier to raise children in a warmer environment.
So Orlando, like your sister?
Probably not Orlando. I still need a big city. I'm a big city girl, so probably Miami would be a closer.
Yeah, I think Miami is a good option.
Yeah.
I come there once a year.
There's a lot of my people there, so that helps.
Yeah. Her people, she means blondes. Blonde girls that like to go boating.
Yes.
There's Chicago in the back. So this is where, we met right back here actually on there was this big party. And
they still host this party every year.
Volleyball?
Yeah.
What's it called? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Volleyball.
So it's like a competition for volleyball and also just like a big party here. We met. I just remember we're gonna come back to the best friend thing, but just to point out, we met and she was like a total bitch.
Actually, I hated him when I first met him. I was like, who is this asshole that requires all the attention from everybody? And I couldn't stand him.
I didn't require that. It just happens. Dude, I was at Cuvée the other night. I walk out. I haven't even said one word yet. Okay, I have my like LED glasses. Obviously, I have of course I get attention. Of course,
exactly.
But it's not my fault necessarily. I just look good. It doesn't help. So,
I'm sorry, I'm hashtag
I have a
blessed.
fashion. It's not even blessed. I worked hard for it. No one just gave it to me. Like I worked hard for this
look,
soft skin for a 36-year-old. So like
it's so baby soft.
So I use sunscreen and moisturizer.
Same.
Let's keep walking. So I was at Cuvée the other night, and a bunch of people were asking me where I got my stuff from, and I'm talking and I'm telling them where. And one of the girls, she's such a bitch. She goes to me, she's like, well, where'd you get it from? And I'm like, I don't know, Amazon. And she's like, how much was those LED glasses? I'm like, I don't know, 60, $70. Oh, blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't pay that much. I'm like, who the fuck asked you? You have like a $2 this dress on, but I can't get mad at her because then people are going to get mad at me. And that happens once in a while. I'm like, you're just not getting attention, so you're mad at me. And that's why Yevi was mad at me that day, is that she wasn't.
What day?
When we first met.
Oh, yeah, no.
You weren't getting attention. And so, but yeah, she gets mad at everyone she first meets. That's just her.
That's not true.
Most of the people. So going back to Chicago, let's keep talking about Chicago really
Let's do
quick.
it.
So pizza, is it better in New York or Chicago?
Chicago.
Why?
Because I really only had vegan pizza in New York with you, so I never actually tried like real pizza in New York.
Yeah. So then you really don't.
But in Chicago, we have a lot of great pizza and pizza pies, like deep dish. It's not really
Yeah.
pizza, it's a pie, but it's still so delicious and so cheesy.
Yeah, so I wrote down a few things that I really love about Chicago. Summertime. I definitely think food is better in Chicago as a general rule. I think if you want the best of the best food, you can get it in New York. Like if you're paying hundreds of dollars for a plate, you can get some of the best food.
Chicago is definitely
York.
becoming a culinary mecca because
Yeah.
it's a lot cheaper to open restaurants here
Yep.
than New York and San Francisco. So a lot of these big name chefs that win all these, shows, like Food Network shows, they all come here and they open restaurants. So we get to try all their stuff and wait months and hours to get into their
Yeah,
restaurants.
and Yevi works in the nightlife industry, so she knows a good deal about these things. So yeah, I mean, Chicago is great for that. I think Chicago is very underrated in general because everyone talks about LA and New York, but Chicago's in this middle area that's like affordable, has the beach,
It has
the
everything.
food,
Yeah.
has some water. It's not as clean, and it's not ocean water, it's lake water. And I've probably pissed in it a couple times.
Great.
And then it has wonderful architecture that you can actually enjoy while you're in the city, whereas New York has all these big buildings, but it doesn't, you can't enjoy it. You have to go to Brooklyn or New Jersey in order to enjoy it. So that's the things I like about Chicago. I think the only thing is wintertime. It's the only thing I really hate about Chicago.
You always forget about the trash thing. That's my main thing. Why I would never move to New York, because I don't like garbage on the streets.
Well, the reason why
Chicago is like cleaner.
the reason why I live in New York is actually just to do stand-up. I think New York is great, but it's way too overpriced and too expensive. A lot of people that live there, they're like living paycheck to paycheck, and if that, they're living with like 10 roommates. Whereas here, you could pay the same price, live in the city, and probably have, like if you pay $1,000, you can get a decent place in the city.
City, but yeah.
Yeah, but you can get it even on the north side. It's still
Yeah.
connected. It's like
True.
it's still gonna take you less time to commute.
Speaking of commute, I think Chicago's public transportation is a lot better than New York's.
No,
public
I actually
transportation.
disagree. Yeah, well, I agree in the sense that it's probably cleaner and more on time. I disagree in terms of the way it's laid out, because the one advantage New York has is that it has all these multiple train lines running through Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens. It's like it's much more accessible,
How's
but
Chicago not like that?
because Chicago doesn't, it only has like the red line that goes north to south, and then it has one line here. It doesn't have like lines spreading out on the west end. It's only on the east side.
Green Line goes to the west side.
Yeah, but it's all the way on the west, and there's nothing in the middle. Like you have to still take a lot of buses to get places, whereas in New York, that's way more accessible. Yeah, I know. And trust me, I hate the New York transit system. I think it doesn't come on time at all, and I hate that aspect of it. But it's everywhere, and when it works all the time. It's 24/7, and if you're in the city, it's even better, you know? Like, see, I love this. It's like we're right in downtown Chicago and people are having a fucking picnic and the city's right there and you can go across the street. So, but that's Chicago. I mean, if you haven't been here, I would definitely put it on your list. I tell people internationally, if you ever come to the U.S., you want to definitely go to New York first. Then you want to go to Chicago summertime second. Can we get an interview with these guys?
Sure.
You want to help me?
Yeah. Hey guys. We're doing an online show.
Yeah. Is
Have we interviewed
anyone down for just a quick interview? Are you from Chicago?
Chicago?
It's just I do a show called Walk with Sadiq.
Okay.
That's my
Okay.
name. Walk with is my name. And so I do it in different cities. I'm from Chicago. This is my best friend Yevi, and we're just discussing Chicago. So the question's gonna be, are you from Chicago? Like, can I get you guys in a little group
Sure,
kind of thing?
Let's
get closer.
Yeah, let's do it.
And if you want to throw out a social media thing, I have a ton of followers kind of thing.
Don't need the
If I can bribe you. Good, I kind of like that. I honestly hate it too. You know, I do it because I have to, but I would go underground if I could. So you guys are all from Chicago?
Yep.
You guys are part of a band or?
Yeah,
Wish
no,
we were part of a band. That would be sick. That would be sick.
just a group of guys,
should get-
you
yeah.
know.
So you guys grew up where?
Old Town, actually, right here.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you guys are like native.
Oh, yeah.
So you compete. How does it feel like competing with all the people that come in from Michigan?
No
Ohio?
competition.
Good.
You can't get better than Chicago, and it's a problem because once you're sick of the city, there's nowhere to move to.
Right.
Yeah,
Plus,
absolutely true.
those people
Yeah,
come
it's the
here,
best
they
city.
don't know all the spots in Chicago.
Right.
You know, we've been here our entire lives, our entire 20 years of living, as much as that
Right,
was
right,
weird.
right.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure, man. Nowadays, you could be 20 or 30. I have no idea.
This guy right here, he's
Honestly.
35 actually.
Are you 35?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking you're 2, but
I was gonna go for 16.
I mean, I take either of those.
but that's good. You're Benjamin buttoning it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Uh, so, give me the top two things you guys love about Chicago. Just throw it out there.
I mean, we're obviously right here, right now, so Skyline.
Skyline.
I was gonna say, the
The
skyline's
skyline
kinda
right
lit.
there. It's
Honestly?
fantastic.
It is, yeah.
I'd say the people too. Like, go to any other city, you're not gonna
You're
get
not-
a hello.
yeah,
or
you're
hey,
not gonna
like,
get people
here
like
will
this.
smile at you, wave at you,
Right.
you know, give you a casual, hey, what's up? They might not mean it. Who cares? It's nice. It's a community.
Yeah.
If you're from Chicago, you're part of a community.
I totally agree with you on a lot of these things too. And I grew up here, like I said. I live in New York now. But the people, you can't be. The only thing I don't like is the winter. It's literally
That's
the
the only
winter.
problem. Chicago's the best city
I'm
in
not
the
sure
world
if it's
except
over
for the
yet.
winter.
From
Everything
September
else,
to
yeah.
mid-June, apparently, like, what is this weather?
Yeah.
Exactly. Once it's nice out, best city ever. The
Once
problem
Yeah.
is that
summer
for 7
finally
months,
It
it's
was
not
like
nice out.
40 on the lakefront this morning, but we're like, yeah, let's
We can
chill
we
out
can
on
chill
the
it
lake.
later.
Yeah.
Just
It'll be
adapt to
fine.
being cold.
Yeah.
This is the new. This is the new 85. Is what 55? That's for
Yeah,
us.
pretty
yeah.
much. Once it's actually Warm enough. warm, like, it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be
out
awesome, and people are gonna be doing festivals. The beach is gonna be rocking.
Yeah.
Pride's coming up.
So
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna say Pride is
So,
coming up.
well, thank you guys for taking the time out. Like that's
Of course,
like this
yeah.
goes out around the world, and it's like I want to be able to share that experience. So,
Yeah, for sure.
also I do stand up, so I'm gonna give you guys.
Oh, yo, I'm about that. I'm
I
about
got
that. Yo,
some
we
more.
gotta go to that for sure.
I like the picture.
Hell yeah.
Doesn't he look so handsome in that?
Yeah,
That's
he
what I
does.
told
That's
him.
a good look. I
So
like
it's
it.
funny. She's never. So this is the postcard. It's the only time my best friend here has ever said I look cute in a photo. I'm like, it's because there's hair. Like you've seen me in 1,000 photos. It's the one where it's like. Here you go.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good day. All right, take care.
Have a good day, man.
Time filming.
Thank you.
You gotta see this guy.
So I think, yeah, I think it's so crazy that they agreed with everything that we were discussing, you know?
I mean, I think anybody that would visit Chicago during appropriate time in Chicago would agree with everything they
Right.
were saying because truly, honestly, best place in the United States in the summer.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say
for
around
sh-
in the world.
I would
'cause
actually say,
definitely-
I would say around the world, dude. No, I mean, because we like traveling, right? For
Yeah.
us, it would be exotic to go to some other place in the world. But there's no place. I mean, I've traveled to other places in the summer. Scandinavia is another place. Yeah. Scandinavia is actually, we should walk down the bike path, around the bike path. Scandinavia to me is another place in the summertime that's great, but Chicago just there's no city like this. It has all the different pieces all in one. I've never been to Sydney in the summer. Maybe that's or Melbourne because they have like the ocean coast and stuff like that too. But there's just I've never in the whole world ever seen anything like Chicago in the summertime.
It's pretty great.
I mean, festivals, there's shit to Lollapalooza, boats on the water, like there's so much going on.
I don't know if you've seen this update to the Lakeshore Drive, but they actually separated bike lanes and walking lanes. So now we don't have to run into each other. It's amazing.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, because
Little things that count.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely making improvements.
Yeah.
So another reason why I had Yevi on is because she's been my best friend for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
Originally, I was trying to figure out who I wanted for Chicago as a guest. And I thought of Yevi because, you know, she's the first person I would think of here besides my family. And I was like, nah, it's not gonna work. And we fight all the time. I know right now we're actually getting along pretty well.
I'm trying really hard.
But God, like my dad says this about my mom. He says like she eats his brain, and he says that in Urdu. Like that's what Yevi is. She like, it's like I love her. Like I can count on her, but like I also want to punch her in the face for no reason sometimes.
And vice versa.
Right, exactly. Like that's not. So, so like having her on the show, I was like, well, there's no storyline. What are we going to talk about? And then and then we were discussing like dating other people and how we like date people and how they perceive our friendship, because we don't think about our friendship like this, but other people perceive it as in like, oh, look, there's a good-looking girl and a good-looking guy that are friends. Well, good-looking kind of for me, but good-looking her, and then
You're plenty of
good personality. No, even that one's questionable. So like we have both of those, you know, like how you can't be friends. A guy and a girl, a straight guy and a straight girl can't be friends. And I probably would have said that a decade or even more ago, like even 15 years ago, when I was like really young. But that's not something I say now in my 30s. And so Yevi has met a few guys. I'm going to say a few guys, it probably is just one guy, but a few guys that
wow.
that feel that, like they have that kind of like, no, he's just trying to fuck you. It's like, we've known each other for 10 years.
More.
You know, and it's like, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, I'm around, and I don't want to be a dick, I'm around women all the time. I have a lot of female friends. I'm not trying to fuck every one of them. Only one or two.
I think...
No, but even then, I'm not, really.
No, I think where people get the misconception is they watch, obviously, a lot of movies. And in the movies, you always get, you know, that guy that becomes best friends with a girl
Right.
in order to one day for her to realize that she's secretly in love with him.
Right.
And that's, I think, what everybody's opinion is about guys and girls being friends. And it's just simply not the case.
Right. Typically, it's not.
Typically,
yeah.
it's not.
And
Especially not in adults. That
and also our friend group, how many guys and girls we have, like, so like the way our friend group is, it's almost like, it's like I tell people family is something you can't choose, but the friends are. And our friends that we chose while living here, like we have some of the best friends in the world. Like a lot of them moved away, a lot of them are here, but it's like guys and girls, and we go out dancing and we're like dancing like crazy, and people are like, are they all together or what the fuck is going on? And a lot of them are married now with kids, but we're still being crazy, and it's like we're still respectful of each other. And honestly, it's a model group.
I'm like losing shit all over the place.
So good. It's like a model for other friend groups, honestly. Like there's obviously fights and there's drama, but it's very minimal compared to a lot of other groups of people that I've met. And so the question here is like, are men and women able to have friendships? And I think they can.
Yeah. It's just respect is what is needed.
Right.
And a lot of people, when people tell me, and this is the problem that I come up with, first question that they assume, they don't even ask, they assume that he's gay.
Right.
And
well, if he's not trying to fuck you, he must be gay.
Which is flattering, but not true. And then, they always look for something, like there has to be a but. Like this, but something. There's not.
Right.
I've met him, and although I hated him originally, slowly I kind of fell in love with his personality and his persona, and I told myself he's gonna be my best friend, and I pretty much manifested that.
Right. She actually did. She's like, it was really weird and awkward. She's like, no, you're just my best friend now. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? No. Like, it's like Neil Armstrong getting to the moon and planting the flag. I was the moon and she was Neil Armstrong planting the flag, and
Yes.
and she stuck through that. And so one of the issues we had was in my previous relationship, I dated someone for about 3 years, and within about 3 months or 6 months of the relationship, Yevi and her met. Actually, you guys met before we even started dating, but she had an outlook of you, and she didn't like you.
Yeah.
And she was very territorial, and she was really good at debating. So she would always win debates about you. Like, she'd be like, yeah, there's something going on. I'm like, but there's nothing going on. No, there's something. I'm like, but it doesn't make any sense. Otherwise she'd be texting me all the time. And she's like, no, there's something going on. And we'd fight. And her and I lived in New York. Yevi lived in Chicago. It made no fucking sense. And so, she'd be like, I'd be like, but don't you just trust me? She's like, I trust you, I don't trust her. And I'm like, but even if you don't trust her, even if she did something, you should still be trusting me. And so we got into these, for months and months, Yevi doesn't know about this, for months and months this is going on. And then eventually, I see Yevi in Chicago, I visit Chicago, and we're sitting at Starbucks. I'm sure you remember, because you started crying.
It was
It was
hurtful.
horrible. Yeah, I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah. Basically, I had this girl blaming me of stuff that I never did, and because you were obviously very much in love with her, and you were taking her side, and it was very hurtful.
Well, I had
to.
to.
Yeah, obviously you did.
But
and
I
didn't blame you for that, but it was still very, very hurtful to me to
Right,
hear
of
those
course.
things and you believing in those things.
But I didn't believe those things.
But
That's my point, is that I didn't believe it, and that's what fucking relationships do to you. That's why I don't want to be in a relationship. That's what they do to you, because I'm sitting there going, it's irrational. And even her, I almost said her name by mistake. Don't say her name.
I won't.
Even I sat there going, you're being irrational. And she's like, it doesn't matter if I'm being irrational. All that matters is this is valid. My feelings are valid. It's like the most bullshit thing I heard.
Yeah, she never took the time to
Get to know you.
me, to get to know us, because there are some, and again going back to that stereotype of guys just being friends with girls to get into their pants, but when you look at them, they flirt a lot with each other, and there's obviously chemistry. If you're around us, none of that happens. Truly all you see is people that we obviously care about each other, we support each other, but friends.
Yeah, but even we've done little races and amazing whatever. It's the Chicago version of
The
a
Amazing
scavenger hunt or whatever, right? And we obviously know each other. We can both dance. We have a lot of things in common, but that doesn't mean anything. And also, just going back to the whole situation with that ex, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to be at that Starbucks. None of it was something that was me fighting with her for months.
I think it all
and it was just to
started,
make her happy, so that I could just tell you and try to get you to be okay with whatever the fuck that was, so I could correct the issue. And
you wanted me to put in effort with her so that she would like me and there would be no more issue. That's what you wanted.
right. And it was basically giving her the territory,
Yeah.
right? And so
I had to fight my own pride and kind of
Right.
my own opinions of the whole situation and just to like play nice basically
Right.
for your benefit.
Right. But that's how I had to end up
Yeah.
setting it up as well, right? Like I had to be like, I'm like, okay, if I don't do this, this girl's gonna be on my asshole the whole time. If I do this, Yevi's gonna get upset, but I have a feeling Yevi is gonna like figure this out and do something about it. So, you know, I have to like play this game of politics. And so anyway, so then we get to the point of that happens, and then eventually my ex and I came back to Chicago
A holiday.
for like a holiday with her family and all this stuff. And it seemed like my ex, because I told Yevi, it felt like she was trying, and she's like, let's go, you know, let's hang out with her. We don't know when we're going to be able to do it. So she actually said, why don't you call Yevi over to my parents' Airbnb? We're all hanging out. She can come hang out here for a bit. So basically, Yevi had to swallow her pride again
Again.
and come into like the lion's den. And that was fine. And she came and she was sweet. And Jade gave her like a set of earrings. Damn it! I can't wipe it off. There's no edits in this show. So Jennifer gave her earrings. And, oops, not my fault.
Are you gonna have to
Hey,
put a bleep in there?
anyone associated with me has to be worried because I'm trying to get famous, and you're gonna get touched by, you know, if I get to that point,
You're gonna get touched.
You're gonna
Watch
get
out.
touched.
Watch out. Hide your kids. Hide
you're
your
gonna get
wife.
touched.
They're gonna get touched.
So my ex gave her earrings. Everything seemed cool.
Seemed cool. I thought it was cool.
And then Yevi left. And then my ex is like, so let me see your phone. And I was like, why? And she's like, I want to see your text messages. And typically I didn't care. I like gave her the phone. It's not like I had anything I would hide from her. But at that moment, I'm like, no. She's like, well, what if Yevi said something? And I was like, she didn't say anything. What's wrong with you? She's like, and the reason, and you know what? The reason why it is because my ex was very critical of people. And because she was such a critical person, she was projecting. And I couldn't communicate that back then because she was better at debating and the English language in general. You know how I am with you with the English language? Meaning I'm better. That's how I was with that ex person.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was and then that relationship ended probably a year after that discussion. And then Yevi never even said anything bad. Like when the ex and I broke up, Yevi never once said, finally, that bitch, like I didn't like her anyway. She never did any of that. She's like, oh, you guys were like good together, which we were for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But obviously there was things missing. So it was like great, and that actually made my friendship better with Yevi. Because I'm always afraid to tell her anything. Like I'm scared of her a little bit.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm so scary.
It's because you're very decisive and you know what you want, and you know like I kind of already know the choices you're kind of gonna make, so I'm afraid of like asking you and hearing a no, because once she says no, then it's like, oh, then I can like I can't
there's really
change her
no way of
mind.
changing your mind.
So I have to like make sure I say it the right way. Like even this show, I originally didn't think about having her on, and then this is the storyline we were discussing at brunch. And then we started walking through the city, and I was like, whoa, this would work perfectly. And so then I had to phrase it in a way where I was like, hey, I have a feeling you're gonna say no because you don't like publicity and exposure to things, and
Which is also
Which
odd
is-
why we're friends.
yeah, which is true, that you don't like you're more of a private person.
I am, definitely.
And I'm also actually becoming more of a private person, but like the more publicity I get, the more private I become.
Oh, paparazzi, stop.
No, it's true. It's true. It's like I've become weird, man. I'm at this nice point right now that like not a lot of people know me. Some people know me, and people just enjoy my work, and they have like no real expectations. But there's gonna be a moment
Definitely
where like people will love me, people will be okay about it, and people will fucking hate me. And there's already people out there that hate me. I'm like, I don't want you to hate me. I'm not a bad person all the time.
All the time.
So, I mean, my thing is opposite sex couples, and even same sex couple, like two gay men, I think they could be friends. It's gonna be a little harder, but no pun intended. But I think men and women can be friends.
Absolutely.
And I think men should try harder on this, because women do want guy friends. The
Yeah.
problem with women is they're not clear about it. We just always just assume when a girl's talking to us that they want to fuck us. So
Yeah.
like, whereas men need to not try to fuck everything that moves, and like think about it this way. Like you have like a nice female friend, you have this new perspective, plus she might have girlfriends.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's a big
none
joke.
of her girlfriends, but because they're all Russians, and
and you would be so lucky.
oh, I would love to be with a Russian girl. I would be like, people would be like, why is that girl dating him? Why is that?
Because she hates her father.
Hey, that's fine, as long as it's not money, because I don't want to.
Oh, it will
I
definitely
don't
be
want
money.
that to be. I don't want that to be a reason. But that's why. So that brings us to our next topic. So, and I definitely want to like get an interview with someone. We should actually let's take a look really quick. So we walked the whole beach. Well, not the whole beach. The beach extends through.
We walked 2 beaches.
We walked 2 beaches. We walked North Avenue Beach,
And Oak Street Beach.
Oak Street Beach. But you see how like we saw that from far away. Now it's right by us. Let's walk through here. I also want to get an interview with one person about 1 or 2 people about can men and women have
that'd be
friendships. Probably not with
that
people.
are actually on the beach.
Yeah, let's go back that way. But while we're having that discussion, before we have that discussion, I was playing with Yevi about Russian versus Ukrainian people in general, because there's stereotypes. Stereotypes exist, okay? There's differences between all different races, and to me, Russians and Ukrainians are pretty much very similar in terms of bloodlines, similar to like Indians and Pakistanis. They have differences, obviously. Russians hate Ukrainians,
That's
but
not
Ukrainians.
true.
Look at her face.
That is not
Look at her
true.
face.
Why are you starting
Because
unnecessary shit?
Russians why are you trying? Anyway, Russians.
No.
I personally think Russians, to me, when they're like, once you have them, when you try to talk to them, it's much harder. And I'm not saying all Russians here. I'm saying I'm generalizing here, okay? Like, if you go talk to a Russian girl, all right, she's gonna be like, what do you want? Why are you talking to me? And she'll have this face on her, and it's not mean. I mean, it kind of is, but it's just a part of the culture.
Yeah, we
of,
just don't give a fuck.
you
Why
know,
should we be smiling at people for no reason?
Yeah, so it's kind of mean, and so like when I first met her, she was really me. She was like getting mad at me for nothing. I was just dancing on the beach, and she's getting mad at me, and so I was telling her how like Ukrainians are better. And look at her face. Ukrainians don't get that way when you say Russians are better. They're like, oh, okay.
The thing is, Russians have a lot of like national pride.
Yeah.
And it comes from years of never being given credit when credit's due. Like, we won World War II. Nobody's giving us credit for it. And other stuff, you know, Russians are always bad guys. They're always doing something wrong, giving you cool presidents and stuff. Anyhow, yeah, Russians have a lot of national pride. So anytime anybody talks shit about Russia, even if it's true, we're gonna get very defensive about our country. It's across the Russian population. We love who we are. We hold it dear to us.
Even if they haven't lived there in ages. Like, I'll ask her, I'm like, hey, you want to go take a visit? Let's go to Russia and like go check it out. She's like, I don't want to go there.
Still love Russia.
She treats Russia the way I treat Pakistan.
That's
no difference.
not true. I would love to go to Russia. It's just hard. It's far away.
It's right next to Europe.
Yeah, but
You just went to Bali.
I grew up in Russia. Like, I want to visit all of the other places in the world.
Well, I'm afraid to visit Russia alone by myself. I already told you this.
I will take you.
Anyway, so like but she said the other day, as soon as I said something about like Ukrainians are better, they smile. That that's the difference. That's how I can tell the difference between Russians and Ukrainians. They look very similar. There's definitely differences, but Ukrainians tend to smile and are just friendlier. And I'm generalizing, right? So I said that to Yevi the other day, and Yevi's like, whatever, we're alphas. That's why we're like alphas. We don't. She was about to smash Ukrainians in the face for me because I said that.
I mean, you're not the only person to have that opinion. I forgot the author's name in the book, The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. His whole life changed when he went to Russia and he saw how much Russian people truly don't give a fuck. And we don't smile to your face and talk shit behind your back. We're not gonna smile to you if we don't know you and you're why should we smile for you? Like, what did you do?
I don't know.
It's an American thing. It's not
to create a nice community. I don't know. I mean, I agree. Look, I agree with you that there's people that like
we just don't give a shit.
I know there's people that smile and stab you in the back, but there's a good and one thing I've learned is I've been trying to smile more. I've actively been trying to smile more because inside I'm like this. But outside, like, my face just looks like this. And I've realized that a lot of people are just trying to... I'm not in a war-torn country where shit's going crazy. My dad smiles all the time, and he just wants me to be happy. And eventually I just realized, I'm like, I actually have a good life. Like, I can smile. Like, we can smile at each other. It doesn't have to mean anything. And most people are not trying to stab me in the back.
I've learned to smile to make people in this country feel more comfortable around me.
Yeah.
So when people meet me, they always assume I'm a bitch, even if I'm not, because I don't smile.
No, you kind of are a bitch.
No, because I don't... It takes me...
We had this conversation. You're a bitch. Just admit it.
I'm not a bitch.
Jesus Christ.
No, I'm not. That's really rude to say, first of all.
I'm not saying all the time, but you have the genetics to like...
No, I do not.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Like, you should have seen, like, when we first... Hey, what's up? No, we're just taking a video. Hey, can I ask you a question? Do you mind if I record you really quick and ask you something? I'm taping this show called Walk with Sadiq. This is my best friend Yevi. What's your name? Daniel Sadiq. I have one question. You mind if I ask you? It's just basically, we're best friends. One of the things that we were discussing was like, can men and women be friends? Because we've been friends for a very long time. And sometimes people are like, you can't be friends. What do you think?
Yeah, they can be friends.
Yeah? Do you have any... I'm assuming you're a straight male?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just asking because nowadays you gotta ask. Okay. Do you have any female friends that are heterosexual?
Yes.
Yes. For a very long time, since you're kids. And what do you think... Like, what advice would you give to other guys? Because you've heard, you know a lot, I'm sure you've heard men bro, you can't be friends with women?
Oh, I don't know. It depends. If it's meant to be a friendship, it'll be a friendship. And if it's going to be something else, it'll be something else.
Right. So don't put any
Yeah.
Stereotypes.
yeah, on it.
situations.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for taking the
you.
time out. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's good.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Should ask a girl.
Yeah, we should ask the girl. Do you want to go? Well, those guys are lifeguards.
You're definitely
Allowed to have a conversation.
You wanna
Go
to
more
those people,
towards-
yeah,
yeah.
playing volleyball.
Yeah.
Howard. Back in the subject of why Russians are so defensive.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
No, like it's like, and it's crazy because once you get them on your side, like Yevi, it's like, then they're like very, very loyal. They're not gonna just replace you with someone else. So it's like a European thing too. Norwegians are kind of like that, but like if I smile at a Norwegian person, they would smile back, but they would be kind of confused at smiling. Whereas like Russian people just don't, man, I don't even like bother going up to Russian girls anymore. I don't bother going up to Russian girls.
Shouldn't.
They're exactly my type. We would get along so well. But they just don't know that because I don't
you're
have
just
the value.
You're just a quitter then.
I don't have a value. I don't have value. It's not a
That's-
quitter. It's not quitter. It's a value system.
What value system?
Russians and Chinese people.
Oh
You guys
my
have
God.
you guys have value
That's not
systems
true,
and
but okay.
and Japanese people. It's a value system.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll discuss that at another walk
Actually,
with Sadiq.
If you go to Russia, you would be surrounded by women because
Yeah, 'cause I have a green card.
There's such yes, and there's such shortage of men or like even eligible men in Russia that they will just grab onto you. So you should go to Russia.
Okay, yeah. Well, I want to go. I'm just scared to go. I told you already.
Another an unnecessary stereotype.
It's
about
not about
Russia.
it's not an unnecessary stereotype. I'm not like I'm also scared to go to Pakistan. It's not a stereotype. It's like I'm an atheist. I look like this. There's laws against certain things. There's certain ways people behave. Don't act like they don't.
Plenty of men in Russia look like you, so you should.
Plenty of men in Russia look. I mean, we'll go. I want to go, but I don't want to go myself. You guys scare the hell out of me, especially when you talk and like, especially when you look at me. Look, right now, I'm scared of you.
Yes, you should be.
Exactly. That's my point. It's like you don't see. Every time her and I hang out, people probably think she's nicer than I am.
Yeah, I am.
But I'm nicer. I'm so much more inclusive.
I'm nice to people that deserve to be nice to.
You see what I'm saying? That sounds like a king or a queen. There's like, you have to win my honor before
Yes.
and I'm like a regular peasant. Just a little angel, little Jesus Christ. Just like, come on guys, we'll all hang out together. See, I won't be able to talk like that in Russia. I'm like, don't kill me. Come on guys,
Yeah.
who wants to party?
Don't
But
do
I
that
can't
in
do that in
Russia.
Russian.
Don't do
You
that
see what
in
I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They'll get the wrong idea.
Yes.
And
Put you in a Russian jail. And You
yeah.
don't want to do that.
Yeah. Let's get one more. Can we?
You want to interview these guys? Or you want to look for a girl? There's like no girls around.
There's no girls around. We're kind of ending. We're nearing the end of our. I think we have a good amount of things
Okay.
we've discussed. If you want to catch Yevi on her social media, it's Yefster Z. So it's I know, man. It's my show.
See, and he called himself nice just now.
But I am nice. I'm not like on a spectrum. I'm way nicer than you. If you want to find her on social media, it's YEVSTERZ. She is looking for a suitable match.
Oh, Jesus.
She's usually looking for a suitable match. Her likes are being on the beach and sun and sand. She's looking to have children. and marriage. It's true, aren't you sure?
I don't want marriage. Why you always get that confused?
Did I say marriage?
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
just
sorry.
Say marriage.
She wants children and a guy to be with her forever. That doesn't include marriage necessarily. So you don't have to sign a contract or anything. You can just do a
This is so
verbal,
stupid.
oral contract. If you would like to date Yevi, it's at YefsterZ.
Do not DM me on Instagram.
Don't DM, just put it in the comments.
I will
Slide
not
into the
look
comments.
Through, I will not look through those DMs.
Slide into the comments.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll find someone for her. I'm not looking for anyone. Well, I am, but like I want like 3 girlfriends. A blonde, a brunette, and a redhead. Across different what? I don't care if it's a real redhead or not, but, or blonde.
Cool.
So if you wanna hit me up, you can slide into my DMs because I get no
respond.
messages. I will totally respond as at Sadiq Smani. But thank you for joining Walk with Sadiq. Thank you, Yevi, for joining. And I know it's hard for you to do videos like this, so I'm very happy you did this. I wouldn't have done it with it. I would have probably liked it with anyone other than you too, but this was good too.
Why do I call this guy my best friend? I'm not sure.
Because I'm funny.
No.
I love you. Say I
Thanks,
love
guys.
you back. Say I love you back. She's gonna
Why are you
say it
so
later.
needy?
Just say I love you
Why
back.
are you so needy?
Just say it back.
Being so needy. You're okay.
She's gonna say it later
He's
to
okay.
me. Bye.